like to go over with you and show you a really rare fortune teller from probably, I would say, the mid-20s. This machine there's been a lot of controversy about this machine. There's been a lot of questions, unanswered questions, a lot of mysteries about the machine. And I have spent literally 15 years trying to answer those questions and figure out what this machine is, where it came from, who manufactured it. And I've been able to answer some of those questions. And I'd just like to go through some of that with you. There are 4 known examples of this machine with the cat on her shoulder. All 4 machines have the same wax head and hands and mechanism, and basically the same cabinet, but not. All 4 of them are a little different. Luckily, I've managed to get my paws on all 4 of them. We've either had them here for service or I've owned them. One of them now belongs to Greg McLemore. The other one is here, and there are 2 others. Another mechanism was just found very recently, and the gentleman that owns that mechanism is hired us to make the cabinet and make whatever's missing on it so that he can have the 5th example. Obviously his example is going to be a little different, but he does have an original mechanism. The big mystery with this machine was the age of it, and the reason why it's a mystery and the reason why there's controversy about it is the cabinet really doesn't remind us of cabinets from the 20s, maybe into the 30s or 40s, but the other problem and the other thing that's raised so much concern about this machine is that it seems to be a machine within a machine. And through my research, what I've been able to determine is that I believe that this part of the machine here, the inner part of it, not including the cabinet part, I believe that this was a German automaton from maybe as early as the turn of the century. And I think what happened was a company imported these complete, as you see them, from Germany in order to make fortune tellers here for the States. And the reason why I think that is the face and the wax face and hands are very, very similar to the wax hands and head that Ghent used on the Cleveland fortune teller. I believe probably the same wax artist did this head and hands as did the Ghent stuff. And what I'm thinking is the company, whoever it was, and I'm going to tell you in a minute who I think it was, probably said, why do we need to reinvent the wheel here and import the wax head and hands like Ghent does when we can buy the whole, basically the whole mechanism, the body, the head, the hands, the whole bit, and then just put a cabinet around it, and we've got our fortune teller. That's what I think happened here. The reason why I think this was a freestanding automaton is you'll see that there are hinge marks here. So that there was obviously a door here at one time. Okay, here's your hinge marks. This is obviously the original cash box from that machine. You can see the dovetail construction, and all of the ones that I've had, all of the 4 that I've seen, have this paisley material on here and this leather material on her seat that she's sitting on in the back. Okay, so you know, we know that these weren't homemade fortune tellers. We know that they were obviously made, they may have been handmade, but they were made by a very proficient and very professional maker. So I think what this was a freestanding automaton in Germany. It was certainly coin operated because we've got the coin box here. And I think that what happened was it was imported into this country probably in the 20s, and I think it was imported by Exhibit Supply Company. I'm going to explain why. This is a card, a fortune card, that showed up on eBay a few years ago. And obviously from looking at it, you can see that the picture on the card is from the exact same fortune teller that we're looking at here. Got the cat on her shoulder, it has this business, has a very similar dress, obviously the same hands, exact same hands, nearly the exact same face. So some manufacturer photographed the fortune teller to produce the card. This card was made by Exhibit Supply. Now, this card went in this machine. This is a page from the 1919 Exhibit Supply catalog. And you can see here that in the picture of the card vendor is again the exact same figure with the cat and the same clothing, the same wax. And basically what this was an inexpensive fortune teller. It was basically a card vendor, and it would vend out these cards. It had two sides, one for men and one for ladies. And so my argument is this. Why or how would a manufacturer, namely Exhibit Supply Company, photograph some other manufacturer's machine for their card vendor? I don't think they would. I think they would photograph their own fortune teller and make a cheaper version of it in the form of a card vendor like this to vend out these cards. So it just makes sense to me, and it just follows through that I believe these four machines that are known were put together by Exhibit Supply Company by importing this whole automaton, this working automaton that was already coin operated, that already had a cycle to it that went through a cycle, because they basically saved themselves the step of just buying the head and the hands from Germany, which is the only place you could get wax head and hands. Saved themselves the step of building the mechanism, because the mechanism was already done. Also want to show you some photographs that have shown up in my research. This, you know, there was always been some argument, well, this machine is probably from the 50s or the 40s, and after looking at this picture, I think we can all agree that this machine is not from the 40s or 50s. This machine is from the turn of the century, or at the very, very latest, the teens. Look at the clothing that these people are wearing. Look at the hats, the knickers that the kid is wearing. You can just tell from this photograph that this is from the turn of the century or later. And what's interesting is there's the exact fortune teller that you're looking at here. The cat on the shoulder, the same outfit, the exact same clothing, what's interesting is it's being used outdoors somewhere at some place, and you can see that there's a wedge, a wooden wedge built to accommodate for the unlevel ground that it's sitting on. So that's an interesting picture. Here's another picture that is turned up, an arcade picture. Again, unknown where it is or what arcade or whatever, but you can see that, again, the same figure, very similar cabinet to what we're looking at here. Also some cabinet artwork that's here that is not on this machine, but probably originally was on this machine. A 2-cent sign with a penny drop, not a push slide, but a coin drop. Here's another picture that is turned up, a very early picture. Again, same figure, cat on her shoulder, same thing around her neck. So I consider this pretty much a mystery solved. I don't know that other collectors or dealers will agree with me, but I'm nearly certain that this was Exhibit Supply's version of a wax fortune teller. And if you think about it, Exhibit Supply didn't have another wax they don't have one in their lineup. And unfortunately, this does not turn up that I know of in any Exhibit Supply catalogs. You can see the detail, you know, just absolutely amazing detail in the face, right down to the hairy moles, an incredible set of choppers, a tongue, extremely realistic eyes and eyelashes and hair. The hands are fabulous. You know, again, reminiscent of the whoever made the Ghent stuff, the Cleveland grandma stuff, probably was the same wax artist that made this. Another thing I want to show you. Over in this area, of all 4 of these fortune tellers that have been found, there's an area here that's been blacked out with black paint. You can see the black paint dripping here. If you shine a light perfectly in a certain direction on this, you can see that it says "Made in Germany by," and then right after that, it was actually dug out with something so that there was no way possible anybody could see who it was made by. Okay, but if you look at it just right, you can see "Made in Germany by," and then it was completely obliterated down here. And I think the reason for that is when Exhibit Supply imported these, they didn't want any of their competition to know who they were buying this stuff from, because obviously they wanted to keep their competition from buying the same machine or similar machines. I'm going to fire this machine up so that you can see the incredible movement of the machine. Anyway, there she is. Extremely rare fortune teller, only 4 known. Mystery solved.